You're at the gate, boarding pass in hand, when the agent picks up the microphone. This flight is full, and the airline is offering $400 to anyone willing to take the next one. Hold on, why do airlines sell more tickets than they have seats? They do it on purpose, every day, legally. And somebody around you is about to get paid to walk away from a seat they already bought. Stay in this line for 9 minutes, because it hides one of the sneakiest ideas in economics. By the end, you will hear that announcement the way an economist hears it. Your first guess is the obvious one. Somebody messed up, and a computer sold this plane twice. Except it was no glitch. Airlines have oversold on purpose for more than half a century, and it is written into the rules they fly under. Second guess then, greed. Except greedy companies do not line up to hand strangers money, and yours is offering right now. Maybe they just hope nobody notices? Except they told you, your ticket carries a quiet asterisk nobody reads out loud. It is a very strong promise, not an absolute one. 3 guesses, and the gate has swallowed all 3. The airline is not gambling with your seat tonight. It is running an insurance pool, in reverse, and the thing it fears is not tonight's crowd. What it fears is the empty seat. Every plane that takes off with an empty seat is throwing something away. The moment the cabin door closes, that seat stops existing as a product. It simply evaporates, at altitude, at full cost. And seats go empty for a boring reason. Ticket holders do not all show up. The consultant behind you is on a flexible ticket and may yet grab a later flight. A refundable fare gets refunded, a conference gets cancelled, plans move. A plane ticket was never a deed to a chair, it is a flexible promise, and flexibility leaks people. Anything bookable leaks, and nearly everything that leaks gets overbooked. And what makes all of it workable is a strange fact. The leak is astonishingly steady. Airlines have been counting no-shows for decades, route by route, and in bulk, the counts behave less like human chaos and more like weather. For 1 minute, sit in the airline's chair, and suppose the history of this 6 o'clock flight says about 10 passengers in every 100 do not make it. You have 100 seats. How many tickets do you sell? Sell exactly 100 and you fly with empty seats, on average, forever. Across a whole schedule, that is a business burning a slice of everything it makes. So you sell 105. And right there, you stop feeling like a gambler and start behaving like an actuary. For any number of tickets sold, the arithmetic of coin flips, the same binomial math that torments statistics students, gives the odds that too many people show up. Sell 105 and those odds stay tiny. 108, they start to climb. 115, and you are quietly scheduling a small riot. You slide along that curve until the expected cost of an overflowing gate exactly balances the expected waste of empty chairs, and you park there. A casino does not gamble. It runs the same wager thousands of times and lives on the average. The bet was never on your seat. The bet is on the crowd, and the crowd is remarkably predictable. Most days, the wager lands clean. The no-show's no-show, the plane leaves full, and nobody in the cabin ever knows they were part of a probability experiment. But some days, everybody comes. And tonight, at your gate, everybody came. Climb out of the airline's chair, because the real question was never whether they oversell, it is what happens when the math misses. For decades, the answer was brutally simple. The airline picked losers, last to check in, or whoever the agent pointed at, and you were off. Getting bumped was something that happened to you, like turbulence. Then, in 1968, an economist named Julian Simon published a fix, 2 pages. When too many passengers show up, he said, do not pick victims, hold an auction. Let every passenger name the price at which missing this flight becomes a deal, then buy seats back from whoever bids lowest. Serious people found it faintly embarrassing. Simon knew. He wrote that to the airlines his idea smacks of the pushcart, like haggling in a bazaar. It took a decade. In the late 1970s, as Washington loosened its grip on the airlines, the regulators came around. The rule that runs American gates to this day was written. Before anyone can be forced off an oversold flight, the airline must first ask for volunteers. Now listen to that announcement again. We are looking for volunteers is not an apology. It is a market, switching on. And you are standing inside it. The people around you are not equally attached to their seats. The man by the window has a job interview at 9 tomorrow morning. The student beside you values her Tuesday at roughly a sandwich. The auction finds her, and the overflow lands on the one person who minds it least, with consent and with cash. Your sharpest objection is probably this: why not label some tickets bumpable up front and sell them at a discount? Because the auction already does this at a smarter moment. In March, nobody knew what tonight would be worth to you. The gate prices the risk at the instant it becomes real, using whoever finds it cheapest this afternoon. As for why none of this is illegal, the rulebook never banned selling a seat twice. It priced the failure instead. In the United States, the passenger forced off an oversold flight is owed cash scaled to the delay, up to several times the fare, by federal rule. Europe runs a similar scheme. One piece of honesty, because this machine has a smug side. If you hold a cheap, non-refundable ticket and you miss the flight, the airline keeps your money, and it may have sold your chair again anyway. Paid twice for one seat, that is real, and pretending otherwise would be spin. The system's only defense is that fuller planes spread the cost of flying across more paying travelers, which, by and large, is part of why fares are as low as they are. Which brings us to the day the machine jammed. 2017. A full regional jet, and, awkward part first, that flight was not technically oversold. Everyone had boarded, and the airline then needed 4 seats to move a crew of its own. But the machinery that took over was the bumping machinery, and it failed exactly where Simon would have looked. The offers climbed to $800 in vouchers, and then they simply stopped. No volunteers. So the system fell back to the old world. It picked a passenger, and when he refused, security dragged him down the aisle in front of a cabin full of phone cameras. The case settled within weeks. The industry's lesson was pure Simon. An auction keeps the peace only while the bidding can keep climbing. Inside a month, the big carriers raised their ceilings to around $10,000. 5 years later, an oversold flight in the American Midwest made news again, because this time the offers got there. $10,000 a seat. There was no shortage of hands. And you walk through this machine far more often than you fly. The hotel that took your booking sold more rooms than it has keys, because some travelers never arrive. The restaurant holding your table at 7 took another party's 7 o'clock too. And your bank runs the biggest version of all. It does not keep everyone's money in the vault, only enough for the people who actually come asking. Booked things leak, and every business that measures the leak has quietly learned to sell it. As for the fear you started with, it is mispriced. The most recent federal count says 2 or 3 passengers in every 100,000 get forced off against their will. Your suitcase should worry more than you do. Meanwhile, the machine has been paying you all along, invisibly. Every seat that would have flown empty and did not is a cost spread across everyone's fares instead. You will never see that discount on a receipt. Its exact size is the airline's secret. Overbooking is one of the quiet reasons flying costs what it does, and not more. And if your number ever comes up, what happens next is not decided by the airline's mood. Volunteers must be asked first. If nobody stands and you are chosen, what you are owed is not a coupon and not a favor. It is cash, set by federal rule. None of that is a negotiating trick, and this is not that kind of channel. It is simply the script the gate agent reads from, because somebody, half a century ago, insisted the failure have a price. Back at your gate, the microphone crackles on again. We Are Looking for Volunteers is a 50-year-old auction warming up. It is an insurance pool running in reverse, a 2-page idea everyone laughed at, buying back its own mistake. The seat on your boarding pass may well have been sold twice, and the second sale is part of why you could afford the first. You have probably never thought of your Tuesday afternoon as an asset. The airline has. Your willingness to wait already has a number on it. And at the gate, for one strange moment, you are the one who names it.